What in the world is going on with celebrities? I mean, we're seeing people leave the country. We're seeing people pop up with injuries. We've seen suicides, people jumping out of windows or so-called suicides taking place, God rest his soul. But we see this stuff happening right now, and I don't think it's coincidental.
Nope.
I think, as a matter of fact, these things are happening given the time. Trump coming into office, Biden getting ready to exit, the DOJ and all the various aspects happening within the administration, the shakeups, the changes, people coming in to clean house. And then obviously we see some new developments with Diddy and Epstein, which we'll talk about in just a second. But
which they're all connected.
All of them.
So you have one guy right now that's alive that not only holds the videos, but all the information regarding these celebrities.
Absolutely. And so I don't think it's a coincidence whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I think it makes perfect sense why this stuff is happening. And the first person we want to bring up to you that you may not have even heard about yet is Jay Leno. Jay Leno was recently approached by none other than Inside Edition. Okay. And what they do, they went in on him. They were like, hold on a second. Hey, what happened to Jay Leno? And when Inside Edition is questioning what's going on with you, that's a pretty bad sign coming from that type of mainstream outlet. And I want to show you this video. Okay. Pay close attention. Don't let this video just roll by you like a regular. Pay attention to what questions are being asked and what Jay's responses are. Think if you were an investigator, okay? You're investigating a case. You got called up. You got to write up a report. Listen closely and pay attention and tell us if this makes sense to you. Watch this.
What on earth happened to Jay Leno?
Oh, your poor face.
Look at my eye.
Oh my gosh.
Jay Leno is all bruised up. The left side of his face is black and blue. His eye is swollen shut. And look at his injured wrist.
It broke my wrist. Lost the nail on the finger, and then I'm all black and blue.
The comedian says he fell down a 60-foot hill.
I said, well, the hill doesn't look that steep. Let me take it down. And then
You rolled down a hill?
Oh, shit.
That's not true.
No, that's true.
Jay Leno says he was staying at a Hampton Inn about 30 miles outside of Pittsburgh on Saturday night when he wanted to have dinner at a local restaurant before his show. Instead of walking a mile and a half down the road, he decided to take a shortcut down the hill. Not a good idea. This is believed to be the steep incline he tumbled down.
Well, I hit a bunch of rocks. It was 60 feet.
Incredibly, the famous workaholic legend performed just 3 hours later without even taking a day off to nurse his injuries. Last night, he was back at it again, performing at a comedy show in Beverly Hills. This is just the latest mishap to afflict Leno in recent years. In November 2022, he was severely burned in a fire inside his garage.
I went to the Grossman Burn Center, and I got a new face. That's a brand new ear.
Leno needed skin grafts, and there he is undergoing hyperbaric therapy at the world-renowned Grossman Burn Center in Los Angeles. Tomorrow night, he'll perform at Comedy for a Cause in Hermosa Beach to raise money for the Burn Foundation, his thank you for saving his life.
Will you be able to see again?
It'll be fine. I'm not worried about it.
So what do you guys think?
This is what I love, not only about Twitter, but I love where everybody's mindset is at right now.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not buying it. So if we go to Twitter, which there's
Let's pull it up.
incredible tweets right now that we would love to read.
There's always so much good stuff going up in the comment section.
Don't you love that? That when you're reading something, like I was thinking that, like we're not buying it.
Yeah.
We're not buying it anymore, guys.
Yeah. And I think it was pretty cool the way people worded this. So Ben, right, at Texas Jersey Boy says, the guy who's worth no less than $500 million stayed at a Hampton Inn. If true, this is the bigger story, not the fall.
You are right, Ben. You are right. And you know what we did? We actually went online to see what the cost would be at a Hampton Inn.
Yeah.
And from what it shows, it's around $120
Let's look it up.
after taxes, guys.
We looked it up in Pittsburgh.
So again,
okay.
Yeah.
The highest price that I can see anywhere around Pennsylvania for a Hampton Inn is $181. What was Jay Leno doing in a Hampton Inn? Who was he with?
Maybe for the free breakfast, guys. I don't know.
Free
but
continental breakfast. You can't miss that.
Maybe he's just really trying to save money. But this is what was suspicious to me, was there was no scrapes on his body.
Yeah.
And when he talked about the rocks and the boulders and, everything being around, he was surrounded with rocks. I'm like, well, if you're falling down, you're kind of sliding down. You're going to be
No.
scraped up,
Like,
right, guys? His face, his
if it's that
hands.
slope, okay, first of all, if you go back to the picture of that hill, where was the pathway to walk down? Like, I just saw a bunch of trees and bushes sticking out. So what did he think he was going to do? Slide through the bush? And if you're falling on that kind of a slope, you're going to fall. So why was only one side of his face? Why wasn't his head? Why wasn't it any other
His
part
other
of his
arms,
body?
his hands, yeah.
It looks like maybe, potentially, Jay was involved in something with somebody he shouldn't have been. Maybe he was getting ready to say something he shouldn't have. Whatever the case is, something took place. And let's dive back into these comments and just take a peek at a few more, because people, like you said, aren't having it. Let's read a couple of these. What's this guy? He said, another guy here, Mr. Sunshine Baby. What do you say?
Did Jake Paul fight another elder? Ouch.
Jake Paul had some involvement in this. Who knows? Humble Forever says, has a show in Pittsburgh, but staying 30 miles away at a Hampton Inn, no car, right? Walking a mile to a restaurant. That's what I was saying. I was like, hold on a second. You're telling me the car guy, right? Cars and coffee. He's not having coffee with Jerry Seinfeld, or you're telling me this guy didn't have a rental car? You're telling me he didn't have a driver service company? You're telling me he couldn't at least get an Uber?
Or a bodyguard.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be walking around with protection too? Especially, again, he's an elder walking around. You know, maybe again, it could have been an accident, but somebody had tweeted something on this on the comment section. And I absolutely agree with you, because we do see this in Hollywood when it comes to celebrities. And would you go ahead and read that for us?
Yeah. Eric, Child of God, says, shaming ritual.
Wow.
And as you can see, this picture that you guys are seeing up on the screen, his face is blasted. Okay. Neptune says, bruh said he fell down a hill. This is top tier level gangster-ish. Going on Jay Leno keeping ish in the street. And then Autism Capital says, Jay got beat up by the Illuminati, didn't he?
Wow.
And let's look at a couple more. Read a couple more off of this. Let's see. Yeah, CFO, Grandpa T Money. Why would a wealthy man be at a Hampton Inn?
And there's a lot of high-end resorts that if they found out Jay Leno was staying at their hotel, I'm sure they would accommodate and be happy.
And what
maybe
did they
not
say?
even
Hold on.
charge him.
He was there for a comedy show. So you're telling me that the representative or the hosting club wouldn't put him up in a resort?
His receptionist or manager, talent manager. I don't think they would have him at a Hampton Inn.
Come on, Jay.
If so, Jay, you definitely need to start.
Jay, what were you doing, boy?
You need to start speaking to your manager about this. This isn't right.
And let's just read a couple more of these to cap it off, and we'll dive into some more. Someone said, not a part of the Black Eye Club, right? Danny Direct says, a tumble down a hill is what the mafia is calling a warning these days? Question mark, right? And then I like this one, MS. Funny how people who attended Diddy parties who are likely talking to the feds are getting injured now. Some fall from balconies, others drown in a tub from apparently ingesting too many drugs and now being pushed, tripped falling downstairs in a 5-star hotel. Bob Saget's assassin is getting sloppy. And then lastly, Jay Leno said Trump winning was a great day for democracy. And a week later, he falls down a cliff and looks like he was beaten. Was Jay getting ready to speak?
You know what's amazing is I had heard from somebody that was a victim online that she was pleading, do not trust the feds, the FBI. Do not call in giving your full identity, because all they are doing is creating a hit list. We are seeing a lot of activities taking place with these celebrities, guys. But you know what? The good thing is we're not buying it. They're not fooling anyone. And we are doing exactly what is right. Asking the questions, talking about it, making videos, sharing content like this.
We're going CSI
This is
Miami.
what we need to do, guys. Continue to share the
That's right.
content. Continue to wake people up around you. And let's cancel Hollywood. No more Hollywood, guys.
And like I said, we're going CSI Miami, okay? And the reason being is like, come on, like you can't put this kind of stuff past people and make them really believe this. Like, let's think about it. Even the Inside Edition, when Jay was like, yeah, I stepped and I fell down a hill. And the guy said, no, you didn't, Jay.
They actually went to the spot to investigate it. Huh? They weren't buying it.
They weren't buying it. It's like, okay, you're getting called and booked to come do a comedy show. They don't pay for you to be put up in a resort or a nice place, but instead put you in a Hampton Inn. Okay, that's check mark 1 off the list. Then on top of that, you don't have a driver, you don't have an Uber, you don't have a rental car, and you're gonna go walk a mile and a half away to a restaurant, but you decide to take a shortcut through a 60-foot drop hill that goes straight down with no pathway.
At nighttime, you're a celebrity.
Give me a break.
I wouldn't even look at a hill or a little area that looks, oh, it's a little shortcut and see it dark. I just wouldn't do that.
And then not even 3 hours later, he went to the club and still gave the comedy show. Beat up and bruised like that.
And he has to walk around for everyone to see because once again, it's a shaming ritual. There always have to be public, guys.
And then here we are now in Beverly Hills. They catch up with him. Oh, I'm all right. Lifts up his eyes completely shut. You would think a guy would be home healing, right? Doing the proper things that he needs to do. But instead, he's out in public. And guess what? He's getting ready to go suit up and go do an event for this place that gave him a skin graft for burns that he got. It just doesn't add up. And something was taking place. Either he was going to say something, expose something, or maybe they were just shutting him up early. Who knows? Maybe it was the Trump comment. I don't know. But needless to say, it's pretty clear to see that something's up with Jay Leno.